Good afternoon, lovely people. Thank you for joining me. It's Sunday 30th of June and I'm just having a lovely walk not far from my house. So why am I walking? Well, it's part of my training plan for the next race. It's next Saturday, the 6th of July. You'll find me in Eryri, Snowdonia, to do the TEC Trail Events Company's race, The Crossing. There are 4 distances available from 15k to 56k, and all of them involve an ascent and descent of Snowdon, Yr Wyddfa. I'm going to do the half marathon, the 21k, which has 4,300 feet of ascent, which is 1,300 meters. Of course, most of that ascent all happens in the first half as we go up Snowdon. I think I need to allow 4 to 5 hours in order to get it done. So plenty of walking is a good thing. So when I walk around this field here and check out how agriculture is doing, let me show you what I've been thinking about and doing over the last 3 weeks. Isn't that fantastic? That was evil. Got all tingly. Where's this? Can I finish? More bog. You find out what you're made of. Frying bacon. So what training have I been doing? Well, I'm going to need to do a lot of walking. When you're walking, you use your calves, your hamstrings and your glutes in a completely different way to running. So here's a run that I did last weekend when I talked some more about it. One of the reasons why it's really important to practice walking is because when you walk, certainly when I walk, I extend my stride a lot more. When I run, I'm quite short, choppy steps. And walking, certainly, I extend my legs more, use my glutes and my hamstrings in particular in quite a different way. And it's really important that I get used to that. So if I want to be hike fit to hike several kilometers uphill, I need to do some practicing. I've got all the same kit that I'm going to be wearing. I've got my Rocklight shoes, Innovate Rocklight shoes, which have got a good rugged sole, a bit of a rock plate going on so it won't hurt the soles of my feet. I've been running regularly in them for the last couple of weeks. I've got my pack on with 1.5 litres of water in it. I've got some extra clothing in the back just to add extra weight because I'll need that on the day. I've got the food that I'll be taking, testing everything out. Don't leave it till the last run before the day. What if you find out that when you're wearing these shoes for 2 hours actually it rubs your little toe? What if you find out that you can't reach your food when you're on the run, or that amount of water isn't enough? All these things really matter, so always practice what you're going to need. Here we go, another downhill coming. Only small, but let's go. So I worked out a little loop, well a square really, on Thurfield Heath where I would hike up the steep side and then jog along the top, down the main hill and back to the start, and I could then repeat that a few times to try and get fitter and stronger at walking. Here's a video I did a couple of weeks ago and I'll show you more about that. Those who follow me on Strava may have seen me refer to a run as bin to bench. Well, that's the bin. And the bench is just up at the top there where those people are. So today's workout is hike the ups of bin to bench and then just jog down this bit. So a little bit of a gentle downhill here before a longer downhill back down to the bottom, and I'll practice my downhill running. And then I would repeat that. The first week I did it 4 times. The second week I did it 8 times. And the third week, last week, I did 12 laps of the bin to bench circle. After I did the Cheddar Gorge video, Mario on YouTube asked me what I did to stop running downhill from killing my knees. Here's a video I did on last weekend's run that kind of explains a bit about it. So how do you run down hills without hurting your knees and your toes? Well, first thing is get your shoes right. Your shoes need to be big enough so there's a little bit of gap between your toes and the end of the shoe. And your feet will swell anyway, so it doesn't hurt to have them slightly bigger. You want them to be wide enough, so enough room in the toe box for your toes to move a little bit. But then when you lace your shoes up, make sure you're relatively snug around the midfoot, and that stops your foot sliding forwards. Because what you don't want is running downhill, your foot to slide forwards into the end of the shoe, and then every step you take you're effectively just prizing up your toenails, and over 10,000 little prizings up of a toenail will do terrible things to it. So plenty of room in the toe box, snug around the midfoot, lace it tight enough around the heel that your foot's not going to pull out, but not so tight that it hurts the tendons on the top of the foot. And as far as running down the hill is concerned, make sure you've done some training. Lots of fast steps, your feet underneath you. Run on your toes or your midfoot. Imagine you're running on hot coals. Keep your feet close together, so if one foot slips, the other one's there to cover it. Lean slightly forward, don't lean back, because that'll tempt you to stick your legs straight out. And sticking your legs straight out means when your foot hits the ground, it effectively jars and jolts your heels, your ankles, your knees, everything. And just after that clip it started to rain. It's not a bad thing because the weather can be notoriously changeable up on Yr Wyddfa. There's about 3,000 feet, 900 metres from the bottom to the top, and it's a 4-mile path. The temperature can change by as much as 10 degrees from the bottom to the top. The weather you get at the bottom does absolutely not dictate what it's going to be at the top, so you must be prepared. Thank you. So the rain's just started, so headgear on. How quickly the weather turns, eh? All right, we're now going to power up this hill. The weather might well be like this on Snowdon. 3,000 feet of elevation can make a huge difference. Strangely beautiful though, isn't it? Wet feet. Again, worth getting used to. How do the shoes manage when the feet are wet and the socks are wet? Do they start to rub then? Or are they okay? The weather forecast for next weekend in Llanberis, which is the bottom of the ascent up to the top of Snowdon, is 13 degrees and showers. Whatever the weather, it's going to be incredible, and I'd love you to join me because it's going to be an awesome experience. The views, the scenery are going to be breathtaking, and at the very least you'll get a laugh at watching a middle-aged bloke trying to tell you interesting stuff in the middle of a rainstorm in Snowdonia. Until next week then, ta-da!